how do I apply this? How does this come into play in a real life scenario? So we discuss tables in Excel, which is one important tool that I really want you to understand and know how to use when it comes to you dealing with data in Excel. Take a look at some lookup function, index and match, which is one of my most favorite formulas when it comes to Excel, right? Then we won't just do that alone. Then we'll be doing that with our activity. So we've done a little bit of introduction about myself. I'm senior valuation analyst, work with Deloitte. I'm certified financial modeler, valuation analyst, and more of business intelligence analyst. So I'm also a Microsoft MVP, and I'm still within the current financial modeling trainer of the year globally. And in 2021, I was selected as one of the top 6 financial modeler in Africa region. And right, I was also selected as one of the top 16 Excel users in 2021 Financial Modeling World Cup competition. And also, I have a boot camp that I have also undo, which we call Time Out with Victor on financial modeling. And also, I'm an assistant team lead of the digital team in Deloitte West Africa. And trust me, I used to be a trainer and I'm still a trainer. So I've worked on over more than 200 portfolio projects and I've also trained more than 5,000 personnel, and we are still counting. All right. So enough about me. Let's get to what we are doing today. Productivity with Microsoft Excel. That's how I really love to put it. Don't just learn things for knowing sake. You just need to learn it and understand how to use it and apply it. This, you really don't need to cram anything. The more you try to cram, the more you are weakening yourself. So it's better you understand, create a scenario. How can I apply this? If the scenario is not coming, then you know that it's just a wasteful learning. It's always good you learn things that are applicable. Okay, so um, email was sent to everyone, right? And I would like us to go ahead and open the file. So one Excel file was shared with us today. Please confirm, Joseph. That's the file.
Yes, it was dropped on the chat. Yes.
Okay, all right. So please let's kindly download it and save it on your computer if you are joining with your computer. And I think I would encourage every one of us to join with our computer because this is more like a practical session. It's not a theory kind of thing. You are, as I'm taking us through it, you're also doing it at your hand. So okay. So please, if you have the file, download and you've opened it, I'd just like you to click on your raise hand. So there's this raise hand, or just click on your thumbs up, either of the two. So go ahead, save it, open it on your laptop. Let me also try and open my own. So when you open it, this is how the Excel file look right. So you see the cover page, then you have 01 worksheet and 02 worksheets. Okay, so let's just wait for our colleague so that we can all start together at the same time. Okay, so they said if you don't have the file, do well to check the WhatsApp for it. Okay. All right, so we are waiting for everyone. As I said, this is a very practical session and participation is very, very key. Best way to learn anything is when you get to do it yourself. Don't just watch, do, apply. All right, please, I can only see 3 hands up. I just want to confirm so that we are all on the same page before we get started. Oh, okay, perfect. All right, it's okay. Okay. At times, Teams can have a slight delay. Okay, so thank you for that. So, as I said, productivity with Microsoft Excel, and it's just you becoming more efficient. And one thing I want you to know is so many people know how to do things, but few people know how to do it in a professional and uh, in a manner that is kind of generally accepted, right? And I will tell you, if you put 10 uh, top Excel users together, I'm sure maybe 5 or 4 will kind of create something such a way that anyone that is just learning can even take that project, take the workbook, and still understand everything they've done. And people that created Microsoft Excel, I want you to understand this. They understand simplicity, and that's the same way they've actually created Excel. So it should not be complex. It should be well simplified. And that's what we will be discussing today, right? So I'm going to introduce you to something we call Excel tables. Excel tables, right? And the best way to manage your data in Excel is making use of Excel tables. And we're going to see, why do I need to convert my data into Excel tables? One, it kind of just creates a structure reference. So in the previous session that we had, where we were being introduced to understand basic of Excel, right? You understand what is address of each row. How do you go ahead and you input formulas? Right. So at times you put formulas, it might be difficult to read because you are saying cell A1 multiplied by cell something, some if cell this, row D. So it's at times it becomes clumsy and it's difficult for you to trace. In line with that, then it makes you uh, open to errors. Right? You are open to error. The data integrity is really not 100% confirmed. And that is why we have what we call Excel tables. And trust me, when you want to put any formula, you're trying to manage data, right? You're trying to analyze data. This is always good when you make use of this. And it will also help you to simplify your formula. So let's see how we make use of this when we build our model. Right? And as I said, we more focus on the practical aspect of it. And I want you to go ahead and open this. Okay? Very practical. Well, I'm more of a practical person. So let's go to the 01 worksheet and let's take a look at this data. So you have two tables there. You have data 1, then you have data 2. And here we've been given a data, and look at the headers, right? So I think in previous session you also understand the rule of data, the rule of tables, and all those things. But today let's just keep it basic. So here we have a store, and from this data we have 10 stores from this business. Then different region, we have the manager. Then they've given us their revenue, which is in million naira, their cost in million naira, and we need to calculate their profits. Right? So as I said, this is very, very practical. And let's get started. So what I want you to do is this. I want you to go ahead, input your formula to calculate the profit. And to calculate the profit, that is just what? That will be our revenue minus our costs. So I'll just do one for us, and I will need you to go ahead and do the rest. So equal to revenue, which is the 842, minus the cell that contains 319, and I will press enter. Right? Quite straightforward. So I want you to go ahead and do your home. As I said, practical, practical, practical. So go ahead. Then when you are done, the profits for store 10, I would like you to come to the chart and just drop the value that you get, so that I'm sure we are all on the same page. So let me recap the instruction again. Here we have a data. So we are dealing with data 1. We have the name of store, we have the region, we have the managers, we have the revenue, we have the cost. And I said you should go ahead, calculate the profits, which is equal to your revenue minus what? Minus your costs. Enter and do the same thing. Then the profit that you get for store 10, come to the charts and type that, so that I'm sure we are all on the same page. I love you guys. It seems we have Excel guru in the building. Okay, so let me do my own and let me see that we have the same thing. So you should be getting 592. In case what you are getting is different, please let us know. Let us know. As you're also learning, please, I always want us to also learn how to work fast. Yes, yes, it's very, very important because remember, it's all about efficiency, it's all about productivity, getting things done faster. Good. Now you can see quite simple. And if you look at my cell, I can see F9 minus G9. Go to the second one, I can see, let me zoom out. So I can see F10 minus G10. Quite fine. This is good, right? Now imagine you have almost 3,000 rows of data like this, and you need to put the formula. Yes, I understand that there's a way where we can actually put the formula. You come to the edge, right, and you double click, and it will automatically copy down. But we are going to redo this thing again with the application of Excel tables. And what Excel will only need you to do is to put the formula in the first cell, and Excel will automatically complete the formula for you without you having to drag down or anything. So you can jot that down that, yes, Victor, you said you can put a formula in one cell, even if the data, if you have like 300 rows or 3,000 rows, once I put the formula in the first cell, Excel will just automatically fill the formula down, which we are going to see with the use of Excel tables. So, okay, so now that we have this, you have a short activity. So here you have your total revenue and you have your total cost. So I want you to go ahead, do your total revenue using your sum function. So this is more like a refresher of the previous session. So using your sum, all you want to do is you want to add everything that we have under this revenue. Cost, you want to add everything that you have under this your cost. And for your profit, you want to add everything that you have under your profit, or you can just do your revenue minus cost. Please, let's go ahead and let's do it. And your total, your profits here, just come and type it in the chat box. Please, in case you have any question, you can always type in the chat box. So I also do my own from my hand. Remember, the function to sum everything up is just your what's equal to, type your SUM, sum, press your tab button to open the brackets, right? Then highlight everything from your revenue, from the store 1 down to store 10, your revenue. So let me allow us to do our own first. I love this thing. Okay, looks like we have Excel Guru in the building. So let's give others some few time. So revenue, your total cost. So you are expected to type your total profit. Not don't worry, don't type the revenue, don't type the cost. Just type the total profit in the chat box. The total profit, total profit. So sum your revenue, sum your cost, then your profits, which is your revenue minus cost, and come and type it in the chat box. Okay, perfect. I love that. Let me also do my own. Equal to sum, SUM. Then I open a tab to open a bracket by default. Then I will just highlight everything that I have under my revenue, close my brackets, enter. Do the same thing for my cost, sum, SUM, open my brackets, right? Everything under my cost, highlight it, enter. Then my profit will be what? My revenue minus my cost, enter. So 5213. So in case you are getting something else, please let us know, let us know, let us know. All right. So looking at this, we've actually created uh, uh, insights. We've done an analysis of the total of the firm as a whole, of the data that we have. That yes, the total revenue is this, the total cost is this, and this is our profit. Right? Right. Simple as that. Okay, good. Now, if you look at this formula, Let's come back to my screen. Let's come back to my screen. Looking at this formula is aligning from F9 to F18, which is correct. For my cost is aligning from G9 to G18, which is correct. And for my profit is saying cell L10 minus cell L9 minus cell L10. This is quite fine. But now, as I said, it's all about productivity. It's all about efficiency. Let's now assume that tomorrow, maybe we forgot to add, maybe there's additional 2 store, right? So just look at my screen. If I come to this, my data, because this is a very common error when it comes to you dealing with data. Let's assume we now have another store. Let me add another store here. Call store 11. So don't worry, you don't need to do it at your own end. Just come to my own screen. And we have store 12. So let me just copy this and let me reuse this. Now, looking at this, I've added 2 data, 2 rows of data, right? 2 rows. I've added it to our data. But looking at my formula, I could have forgotten to come back to my formula and add the additional rows that I just created to my formula. This is very, in fact, common errors that you see when people are analyzing and dealing with data in Excel. Because I will need to come back here and come and update my formula. Now, this becomes what you are, this is no longer you being productive. Because every time you need to come back and do what? And now readjust the formula. This is not the efficiency that you're supposed to be practicing. And that is why the use of tables in Excel is very, very efficient. So what I'm going to do is I will remove these 2 and let's now go back to our data 2. Let's go straight to our data 2. Data 2. Data 2. Let's go straight to our data 2 and let's now see what is this tables in Excel and how do we make use of this table in Excel. Now, whenever you have your data, always keep in mind that each data must maintain their unique header and the unique data. What do I mean by that? Look at this. Store everything you have under that column. So when you say column basically looking at it from top to down. So row is looking at it from your left to right. So everything must maintain a unique data type. Region, you can see everything under it, the same thing. Manager, the same thing. Revenue, maintain the same data type and your cost. And also make sure that there's no empty row and there's no empty column. For example, if I have it like this is not the best practice. You must not have empty row or empty column, right? Let me do that. If I have empty column like this, then this is not the best practice because your table will not work on this by the time you want to convert it to a table range. Now, with this, and for you to be sure that yes, your data is also following that best practice, just click anywhere within the data range and on your keyboard press Ctrl A. Yes, so you can go to your own Excel now and try to do it. Just click anywhere within the data range, right? And just press Ctrl A. What's your observation? What happens when you press Ctrl A? What happens when you press Ctrl A? Anyone? You can just type it in the chat box. Anywhere within the data range and on your keyboard, just press Ctrl A. It selects the O exactly. And this is how you know that, yes, my data range, right, is following the rules of our table and rule of data. So immediately it will highlight it like this. Now on your keyboard, now press Ctrl T. on your keyboard. So once you press Control A and it has selected everything on your keyboard, just press Control T. Immediately you press Control T, right? You will see that one tab will pop out and it will show create table with a question mark in front of it. And it's asking you, so by default, it will automatically highlight the data range. And below it, it will also ask you, my table has headers. So you see that it is ticked because so all those store region manager, that's what we call headers. Right? Once you've seen this, next thing is for you to click on your OK. Click on OK. Click on OK. So click on OK and tell me what's your observation. What's your observation? Let me also do that again. Let me do that again. Let me do that again. So remember that shortcuts. Control A to highlight everything to be sure that yes, there's no empty column, there's no empty row within my data range. Right? Then the next thing is Control T, or you can either go to your insert tab, and under your insert tab, you will see this guy called table. I always prefer the shortcut, right? It's kind of work faster. Okay. So you can also go to your insert, then you see the table. So let me do that again. As I said, make sure you highlight everything. Be sure that there's no empty row, there's no empty column. Press Control A to use that to confirm. So in case you can forget the shortcut, right? That's fine. Even if you can't remember the shortcut, just go to your insert, right, and just select. So there's this guy called table icon. So if I select it, it's still going to give me the same thing. Immediately you do that, you see that it's going to change the color. Right? Now, there are some tools in Excel that are more of add in. And anything that's more of add in, but they work with Excel, they usually come with their own special tab. Right? Now, if you look at your tab, name, so by click, so first, just look at my own screen. First thing, I'll click outside just any cell within that, outside the data range. If I look at my Excel tab, I have my home tab, insert, draw, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, automate, developer, app. Don't worry, you might not have some of this in your own. Yeah. But I think your own should at least get to view or app, which might be like the last one, right? Then pivots, I have power pivot, I have Victor tab, but don't worry about that one, right? So let's look at what we have. Look at the last tab that you have. Now, go back and click inside that table that we created and tell me what's your observation looking at your tab. Remember, first thing, just click somewhere outside the table range. Right? Look at the last tab option that you have on your Excel. Then try and go back and click inside that table that we created now and tell me what's your observation. Looking at that, your tab, you should have one additional. Okay, yes. So table design, yes. It shows table design exactly. So let me use, I think it might show some other name, depends on the type of the version of Excel you are using too. So definitely we see that table design. So which means this table actually comes with its own special option tab. If you want to change the color, you can play with it. Maybe I don't like this color. This is the color that I want. You can always do that. More like anything you want to do, it comes with its own special tab. Now, looking at this tab, if you look at your leftmost corner, the first thing you will see is your table name. The first thing is you will see is your what table name, and you can see like there's a box. So currently now my own is showing table 2. If I click inside it, I can name it to our store. I just rename it store data. So store. So it doesn't. There are some function. There are some character that you cannot type inside it. So just type it together. Store, then the data can start with capital letter and press enter. So let's rename. So you can actually rename that table. So what I've done is I've renamed my own store data. Store data. So go ahead and also rename your own. So if you put a space, it's not going to accept it. If you put hyphen, it's not going to accept it. But I think you can put the underscore one. But just type it together. Store data. Press enter. So that means that's the name of the table that we've created. If you want to be sure, click outside the cell, click outside the table design, click inside it again, and you see that the table name is showing there. That's for you to confirm that yes, what you've done is correct. Now, what we've actually done is this, and you'll see the effects of table. Now, if you look at the bottom corner to the right, you will see more like one curve. Okay, yes, you can type. I didn't see the table design tab on mine. So when you click inside the table, what did you see? I hope you remember to convert it to a table before. What did you see? What was your last tab? So remember, as I said, if you click outside the table that you've created, you will see the last tab on that you have in your Excel. Maybe your own is help or view. If you click inside that table design again, then you see additional tab will come in. Exactly. So that's why. So it depends on the version of Excel that you're using. Yeah, I think some you can have it called design, table design. I think if you are using all this for old version of Excel, there's still another name that comes with it. So if you have design, it's still the same thing. But as long as you see additional tab, yes, that means it's fine. So you see to the edge, there's this small small icon, right? And this is showing you that this is where your data, this is the end of your data range. This is the end of your what? Of your data range. Okay, thank you for that. So someone, if you are using 2013, it's stated as table style option or something. Yeah. But as long as you see additional tab, that's the main thing. Okay, all right. Now, let's now go back and let's do what we did the other time. Remember, we want to create our profit. The small icon is not at the end of my button. It should be there. It should be there. Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen. Once you've converted it to a table, it must appear. I can't find the blue stuff at the end of my table. Okay. No one can steal it. So check the last figures. Inside the cell 354. Is there, you must see one small icon there. Inside that, if you check that cell, you will see it. Yes, once you've converted it to a table, by default, this will show. This will show. I hope you've converted it to a table and you have this branded color. Is there? Okay. It's when you scroll down, the last. Okay. All right. Someone saying it's not there. It's not there. It's supposed to be there by default. Okay. Zoom in, or zoom out. Either of the two. You will see it. So check your 354. Someone is saying, can we run us through how to convert to a table again? Okay. We've gone past that one. So don't worry. The session is being recorded and you can always revisit that. That's why I was trying to carry everyone along. Okay. So now, remember what we did in the first table? We created our profit. So what I'm going to do is I will come below this, my cost, right? And I'm going to type profit, right? Open my brackets. You can type your NGN. Don't worry, because I've set up my own to always change my, whenever I type NGN to give me the Naira sign. But don't worry, just type profit, open a bracket, NGN, and see what will happen. So go ahead, do that. Let me redo it again. What I said is, go ahead, type your NGN, hyphen million. Remember the values are in million, right? And press your enter. So to convert the table range to a table, so make sure you are selecting just any cell within that table range, right? Make sure you press Control A to be sure that there's no free column and there's no free row, empty row and empty column. Then press your Control T and press Enter. So it will convert it to table. So you can see now, immediately that I type my profit, what happened? The table automatically add it to my data range. And if you now scroll down, you see that that small icon would have moved away from where it was before, right? Good. Now, remember how we calculated our profit? Go ahead and do the same thing here and tell me what's your observation. What's our observation? Okay, so okay, someone said I should repeat what we did. Okay, let me see. I hope it will still go back. So I said, remember what we did in the first table, right? That we created a profit line, a profit column. So I said you should go ahead, type your profits, right? Let's maintain the same units, ngn, then iPhone, put your million, close the bracket and press enter, right? Then I said you should go ahead and do your revenue minus cost. Okay, good. So someone is saying the rest calculated automatically, good, which is the first thing. What is the second observation? The second thing that you observed. It's applied your profit, yes, which means it automatically fill everything down. Good. What's your second observation? What's the second observation? The second observation, immediately you find the first one, the rest calculated, I agree with you. Let's what's your second observation? The name, thank you. Thank you. You can see that what we did in the previous one was what? When you click inside it was giving us F9 minus what? G9. But because we've converted this into a row, if I type equal to, you will see it's not showing the name of the cell, but what is showing you the name of the header. So it's easy for someone to check here and understand that, oh, what you've done here is what is your revenue minus your cost. So instead of it showing you cell A something, cell B something, it automatically give you use the name of the column, the header name, to show the formula. So whenever someone send you any Excel file and you are seeing, instead of you to be seeing cell H20 cell, but you are seeing the name, it basically means that what? It has been converted to a table bench. Now with this, take a look at this before you go ahead and you do your own. You can come back to my screen. Now, remember in the other table, we had to highlight everything from beginning to the end, right? But here, if you want to do the total revenue, just look at my screen. I will type my equal to sum, press my tab to open the bracket. Now, instead of highlighting everything in the data range, what I'm going to do is I will bring my cursor. So let me zoom out very well for us to see this one. So let me do this so that I can zoom out for us to see. Please give attention to this. We'll do it only once, only once, only once, only once, only once, once. Then you can do your own. I'll come in here, type my equal to sum, SUM, open my bracket, my parentheses, right? Then I want to sum everything that we have under revenue, but let's imagine I have almost 3,000 rows of data. I don't need to do what? Yeah, it's because we converted it to a table. That's why it is showing you, it is using the header, the column header to tell you, oh, what you are doing is the column which contains revenue, we are deducting it from our cost instead of showing you that sell something minus sell something, right? So now type my sum, open my brackets, and I will bring my cursor close to just where I have this revenue, right? Immediately I bring my cursor on that inside that cell, which is revenue. In fact, let me say on the revenue itself, REVENU. Your cursor we change to a down arrow, a black down arrow. And all I need to do is to click on it once. And if you look inside your formula, it's going to show you store data revenue. And it will not show you sell something to sell something. It will not show you like row 24 to row J something or anything. It will just give you the header name. And once I press enter, it automatically calculates everything in that column. Let me do it again. I said type equal to sum. Press your tab to open the parentheses. Bring your cursor to where the revenue, that revenue that we typed. So you also be observing your column, be observing your mouse icon. It will show more like a white cross. When you move it up, when you move it closer to that revenue, it will change to a black pointed down arrow. Click on it, then close your bracket and press enter. So let's go ahead and let's do that at our hand. So do the same thing, do for revenue, do for cost, also do the same thing for your profit. Yes. Let me give us 2 minutes to do it. Okay, yes, someone is saying this is much easier. I agree with you. So imagine even if you have a million data, different rows, right? This just make it easier. So they don't say the cursor didn't change in my person even added. So make sure it will change. So equal to, make sure you type your sum, open your brackets, right? Open your parentheses, then come to where, as I said, that revenue, right? You can just make sure, look at your cursor, observe what happened to your cursor. So it must change, right? If I just bring it closer to the revenue, it will give you that point down arrow. Click on that point down arrow once, right? Click enter. And the other way you can do it, you can still highlight everything. You can highlight the range. So if you highlight the range, this is what will happen. If you highlight the range, right, it will just give you, it will still give you the same thing, right? If you highlight everything, but this is how, if you highlight everything equal to sum, you can still highlight, but I always prefer that because it just help you to do what you want to do faster. To still give you likely the same thing, but most times it's always good you click that point. So you don't need to do double work. All right. So you can see that this is quite simple and easy, and it's easy for someone to just look at the formula and say, oh, what you've done is you've sum up your data name is the store data. Remember, we rename it. Then everything named revenue. So the same thing, let me do for my cost. So do the same thing for your cost, right? Equal to sum, open my parentheses, right? Then your total, in fact, you can even do the same thing, calculate all your total profit, or just do your equal to my revenue minus my cost, right? Right. Quite straightforward. Now, that is one, because it's easy for someone to understand and see what you've done. Let's now look at the second thing. Let's assume we now need to update this. So what I want you to do is come to this, okay, so come down here and type store 11, type store 11. So immediately anything you type within that closer to the range of your table, your data table, it will automatically do what? Excel will automatically capture it. So what I want you to do is, let me see, let me see. I'm trying to see. Okay, so let's go to the format table and let's copy what we have from for the store 9 and store 10. So far you can let's rename store 9, let's rename it to 11, and then the other one to store 12. Then copy the data that you have there from the store name to your cost. Copy it, then just come below this our data table and just paste it and look at what will happen. Even where you put the formula, it will automatically fill the formula as well. So let me do that again. So what I said is you should go to the format table, the table one that we had. So that table 9, just rename the store to store 11. The store 10, just rename it, just change it to store 12. Then copy from your store to your cost. Don't copy the profit. Copy it, then come to our data, our table, and just paste it there and look at what happened. Automatically, that profit formula will also be captured. So let me give us time to do our own from your end. Okay, so someone said I should come again. I don't like to come again. So I said, so let's assume we want to add additional data, right? So I can come in here, as I said, so that we just want to pick more like additional data. So this store 9 in the table 1, right? Just I can name it to table 11, then the store 12, I name it to store 12. Then I will copy this store from here to my cost. Copy, then come down to our data range, our data table, below it, and just Control V. And what will happen is Excel will automatically calculate the profit, right? It will automatically calculate the profit. Then your total revenue, which we've done, will automatically update. Both the revenue would be updated, the cost would be updated, and your profit would be updated. And that is one benefit of your work of using table in Excel, right? It will automatically automate everything without you stressing yourself or you having to go back and be updating the formula. If you click inside the formula, you see that it will automatically include the additional data that you've added. So it saves time. As I said, it's all about productivity. So you can build a solution for a client, right? Create data analysis, create reports in Excel, right? Create one interesting dashboard. Then they have their data, which you've converted into a table, and they can always add to it. Maybe there are some data that usually they come in every month. So what they have to do is they just copy the data, paste it there, and Excel will automatically add it to the data. So any function, any formula that you've included would automatically update on its own, right? So as I said, we have a limited time, less than 1 hour. So I'm just trying to make sure we cover as much as we can. Now, let's go to the next thing. So let's go to the 02. Any question on tables before we go ahead? Any question? Any question? Quite straightforward, right? Okay, we should continue. All right. So let's go to the second one. Let's go to the second one and let's take a look at introduction to VLOOKUP. As I said, we have a limited time, but let's see if we can get on with this. Now we have a data here. So you can see it's not in table format yet. So we have dates, we have region. They've given us the name of the manager for each region. They've given us the location code. Now they ask us to go ahead and fill the location name. based using the location code, which they've given us by the side. So there's another table that contains location code, right, and the name of each location. So you can see this. They've given us their revenue, the costs, and we need to calculate the profit. So now, all we need to do is we need to take a look at what this is what we need to do. We want to go and look for, let's assume we want to do this manually. I want to come in here. This is LC14 TAR, right? If I come here and I look for LCTAR, which is inside this, which is this, and that represents what? Taraba. That means I will need to come here and I will need to type don't worry, don't do it at your own end. I will need to type Taraba. If I look at the second one, LC12BOR. If I come to this, my data, LC12BOR, that means that is Borno. Then I'll come here and I'll need to type Borno again. Now, which means what I'm doing here is I'm really wasting my time in doing this, which is doing it manually. But you know what? We can actually make use of a formula in Excel that can help us look for this code, the code here. You should go and look for it in this location code and give us the name of the location itself. I hope it is making sense. So we want to go and look for that code to get the actual location. So remember, what do we want to go and look for? We want to look for this current code, right? Just as I'm saying it, we want to go and look for this code. The people that created Excel, just simple for, they understand simple English. We want to go and look for this guy. We want to go and look for it in this table range, and we want it to return something to us. So I believe in the previous session, we're being taught how to search for formulas and function, right? Can we untable? Okay, yes, a very good question. Can we untable a table? Okay, so when you convert something to a table, right, is you cannot untable. What is called is you convert it to a range, right? So you know, before you converted it to a table, it was a data range. So can you convert it back to a table, to a data range? Yes. And secondly, as I said, you can always, so this design, you can always change the design under your table design. You will see different design options. That I leave that to your own. So can you convert it back to a range? Yes. As I said, it comes with its own special tab. And people that created it, Excel, they understand simple English. Can you convert it back to a range, which means you want to untable the table, right? So you can see the option. It's just there. You see? So beside your table name, you see another option: summarize with pivot table, remove duplicate, convert to range. So if you click your convert to range, right, which means it's going to convert it back into a normal Excel data range. So that's just with that one button. If you ask you, do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Just click yes. So it will go back to your normal thing. Then if you remove all those functionality of a table, the naming and the whole thing. Right. Okay, good. Okay, so now remember what we want to do? Back to our VLOOKUP. We want to go and look for this code. I want to go and look for this code in where? In this location code, and I want it to return back location for me. So first thing I would like us to do, to make, as I said, for the formula transparency, highlight this location code and the location. Highlight it, and let's convert it to a table and call it location data. Location data. I hope you still remember how to do that. So only your location, this one, not the main table. Just this one, location, code, and the location. Highlight it like this and press your Ctrl T. Click on OK. Then go to his table design name and insert that name. Call what? Location data. Enter. Simple as that. We've converted this. We've converted this. Right? Quite straightforward. Then let's go back to our other data. So we want to work smart. We just want to put the formula once and Excel should fill everything itself. So remember, highlight the main data. I like the main data. I like the main data. I like it from your date to your profit. And let's also combine these to table as well so that I can make our formula uh, faster. So Control T, I'll click on my OK, right? And if you want to change the name, we can change the name to our, maybe we should call this our revenue, or let's call it our sales, maybe sales data. Please redo. Okay, so okay, this that we are repeating what we just did now, right? So good way to learn very well is when you keep doing it again. So I said your location, this small table that we have here, right? I like the old thing. I like the old table. I like the orange. Press Ctrl T, convert it to a table. Go to your table design, rename it to location data. Now you are learning how to work efficiently and work faster too. Convert it to a table, rename it to location data. First thing. Once you are done with that, that should not take you 1 minute. Come back to the main data. From the date to our profits, highlight all the range. Press Ctrl T, convert to a table. Go to your table design tab and also rename it to sales data so that we have it like this. So before we now use our formula. So before we even use our formula, calculate your profits. Calculate your profits. So when I train people, right, that's one thing I really love doing. I always make sure there's an exercise that will allow you to repeat what you did in the previous exercise. Yes. So that's what we just did now. Convert to table, put in your formula again. Your profit equal to revenue minus your cost. Enter. We're just doing repetition of what we did. So don't tell me you've forgotten now. No. I trust us. I trust us. So you've calculated your profit. Good. Now let's now use our VLOOKUP to get our location. Okay, so I trust we are good with that. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Now, let's do our VLOOKUP. I believe you should be done with the table. As you're learning, you learn how to work faster and efficiently. Yes. Okay, good. Now, remember what we want to achieve. We want to go and look for this code. So I want to go and look for this LC14. I want to go and look for it where? I want to go and look for it in this data range, right? And what do we want as the return? So we want to go and look for that code in location code column, and it should return the what? It should give us the location name. That is what we want. We want to go and look for the code, the current code in this list of code, location code. And what do we want in return? We want it to return back the what we have in front of it, more like the location. Now, one thing about VLOOKUP that I want you to know is this. VLOOKUP only look from your left to your right, which means anything you are looking for should always be in your right edge of the model of your table. So let's look at it. Steps number 1: identify the value you want to look for. You want to go and look for that code in that code list, right? The value must be in the first or leftmost column of your data range. Then we've done the conversion to table. Then identify the columns that contain the information required. And we can now carry out our what? Our VLOOKUP. Okay? So now let's use our VLOOKUP. Let's make use of our VLOOKUP. All right? So one of the benefits of you using a table range as well is it helps with cell referencing, because Excel just automatically help you in doing that. So equal to VLOOKUP. And what does VLOOKUP do? Looks for a value in the leftmost corner of a table So which means what you are looking for must be in the leftmost corner, and the result must be to the right. Right? The leftmost corner does not mean it must be the start of the formula, or it must be the start of the table even. It could be starting from column 2 or column 3. But yes, VLOOKUP is the name, yes, that we are using. Just type VLOOKUP, click tab on your keyboard to open the brackets. And what's the first thing that is asking for? So any formula you are putting in Excel, there's always a syntax for it. Simplify it. Equal to VLOOKUP. What is our lookup value? So select what you are looking for. So you can see we are looking for what? Location code. Look at it. So that's the first thing that is asking. So it will give you that formula syntax. Lookup value, what are we looking for? We are looking for what? Location code. Comma, in what? So VLOOKUP, we always ask you for what is the table array. And remember that we renamed that our table, right? Which we name location. So I can just type. So immediately you type that, you start typing location, or you can even go to the table itself. You can go to the table itself, right, and highlight everything from start. But since we've renamed it, you just put the name, right? We call it location. So immediately you start typing that location, it will bring it out for you. Go and look for the location in our location data, right? Comma. Then the next thing is it will ask you for the column index number, which means that table, which column do you want as a result? So if you look at this, our table, right, you can see that location code is what? Is column 1. Location code is column 1, which contain what we are looking for. And our result is in what? Column 2. So maybe where you have a series of column, maybe the result that you want is in column 3 or is in column 4. You just state the column. That is what this column index number is saying. The column that contains the results that we want. So for here, because we have just 2 column, right? I'll just type comma. So I'll just type column. I'll just type 2. Just type 2. Just type 2. So maybe if the column of the result you want is in column 3 or column 4, make sure you type that 2. So comma. Then the next thing is asking you for is, do you want approximate match or exact match? What do we want? We want to give us exact match. So most times it's always good you state this. Yes, I've seen someone that sat with a data, spent almost 3 hours on it, just because he forgot to select this last. Because if you don't select this last option, the formula will still work, but it might not give you the result as you want it. So you must be able to tell, hey, give me the exact match. Right? Most time this approximate match, we use this for value range of a thing. So maybe someone score between 20 to 50, 20 to 25, hence all those kind of things. But for normal text, we usually use exact match. Select the force and close your brackets and press enter. And press your enter. And you can see the formula will automatically come out. I hope we got that VLOOKUP, or should we do it again? If you want me to do it again, please let me know. I think I simplified it. You want us to do it again? Anyone? We all got it right. We all got it right. Someone said I should do it again. Okay. Hey, please do it again. All right. So let's do it again. Let me highlight everything and do this. So VLOOKUP, as I said, they simplified it. People that created it, they understand English. So equal to VLOOKUP. Open your brackets. First question is lookup value. What are we looking for? Hey, we are looking for this code. Comma. Then the next thing is this code that you are looking for is in which table range? Now, the table range that you are looking for, right, must contain this code that we are looking for, and it must be at the leftmost corner. So I said, remember, we renamed this our location data, or better still, you can highlight everything. You can highlight everything. But immediately you highlight it, it will, in your formula, it will just bring the name, the table name, the name you've given to it. It will automatically bring it out like this, right? Comma, column index number, which means the column that contains the result that we want. And here we are saying, hey, look for that code in this location code and give us what we have in the location, which is what we want in return. And it's in which column? Column 2. So you can have data because location code, column 1, location name, column 2. So which is 2. So I just need to type 2, comma. And the last thing that is requesting for is now what? The kind of search. What kind of search do we want? And we're saying, hey, we want the exact match. So it's going to give you true or false. You can even type 0 there, but it's always good you select this false. Just select it, then close your brackets and press enter. And that is what? How we make use of our formula. So if you see this, you will not say anything like cell cell B20 minus cell B30 and all those things. So this also help to update the formula in case you have new data. The formula will automatically update itself. So because of time, right, you have some might not be able to cover some other ones, but here I think in the last session you covered some if, right? So you can use that and apply it and see how this work. Though, but because of our time, I think we've exhausted our 1 hour. So let's call it. And let me drop my pen here. And we hope we meet some in some other session where we can have further discussion. Okay, if you have question, you can drop that in the chat box. But let me drop my mic and to our coordinator. Hi, Joseph.